Hello amigos, ¿cómo están? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brand new breaking news, I guess, we're going to talk about today, and that is obviously that Javier Aguirre is now the new coach for the Mexican national team. And more importantly for me, I think, is also that Rafa Marquez is now his number two. They've been announced jointly, probably about, I don't know, even about 12 hours ago now. And yeah, the Mexican national team's announced it. It's official. Rumours for a while, obviously since Jaime Lozano left, Javier Aguirre was definitely, I think, the number one successor to him. Some people have their ups and downs on him. Obviously, they talk about his previous appointment. And but for me, I think it's what he's been doing since. He's been in Spain for a long time. He's got way more experience now than he did, I think, when he was first manager. And also, I think I think the Mexican national team needed an experienced hand, someone that knows the national team, that's been there before. I think that was a must, and also the fact that he's proven now in Europe as well. He's not just proven in Mexico anymore. He's proven in Europe, and I think he's going to do a really good job. Obviously, some people say no, he doesn't start but doesn't play young players. He doesn't know how to use young players. But there's stats out there now that prove that um, he's actually quite up there with playing young players and giving them a shot. So he probably, I mean, he must know that there's a kind of a generational change going in the national team, and obviously. There's players that are going to be playing now that probably, some people might not want to play. Young players that don't have that much experience in the national team. Players that didn't have a really good Copa America, for example, like Santi Jimenez comes to mind. But I think he's aware that these players are the future of the national team now. Players like Chicharito, who probably still want to play for Mexico, just are not. It's not viable anymore. There's loads of players now that have left. Chico Lozano for one as well. Some people think that he should be still playing, but yeah, hopefully he does know that there's a generational change, that he needs to play some of the young players, he needs to work his system, but also use his experience. And I think for me, what really makes this move work is Rafa Marquez. Marquez obviously has been at Barca B now, or whatever the other name is now, but the Barcelona second team now for a couple of years at least. I think they renewed his contract before this to next year, but obviously he's cancelled that now. And yeah, so he's got experience playing with young players, developing them. Obviously, he's stated numerous times in public and in his documentary that he wants to be involved in the Mexican national team, and he's got his chance, and hopefully he takes it. So some people say, "Oh, well, he doesn't have that experience," but I think for me, it's the dualness of Aguirre and Rafa. I think both of them together complement each other. Rafa, I think, is much more used to how young players play now, and I think Aguirre has the experience of a proper club and national team coach. So I think both of them together kind of form a kind of look like a really nice whole. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's a really good move. I don't think Rafa Marquez in particular is going to be like a number two for Mexico for too long. But for me, I think Marquez reminds me of Gareth Southgate a little bit, and some people might turn their noses up at that. But Gareth Southgate didn't have a great senior club record before he got the England job. He didn't do that great, with his previous clubs. So, and Rafa Marquez obviously hasn't had a senior job yet, but that doesn't stop you from having a decent shot at a national team. And Gareth Southgate, for all of his faults, has a decent record for England. You have to look at it when it's all laid down in numbers. He has a decent record. Not brilliant record, and he should have won a Euros at least. But he has a decent record from what England were before we had him. So I think Rafa Marquez could be that guy from the Mexican national team. He could just be better at the national team than maybe at club level. But I think they're both in just for the World Cup run. I think once the World Cup 2026 is done with, they may end up both leaving. Or maybe Rafa, if they do a decent job together, maybe Rafa takes over full time. Maybe that's the kind of promise. Maybe there's a gentleman's agreement, like, Rafa will take over from Aguirre after the World Cup. That's a possibility. But I don't think his lack of, club senior experience matters quite so much in the fact that Aguirre has all that experience. Just like Aguirre not playing or not used to playing younger players. Well, Rafa Marquez has that experience, so they kind of gel together quite nicely, in my opinion. Everyone's going to have their own opinion on this. I don't think whoever the national team for Mexico chose as their new coach, I don't think it would have been unanimously loved. Some people wanted more famous person, like Klopp, for example. Well, Klopp was never going to Mexico, but what I'm saying is that no one's going to be perfectly happy with this. I think overall, the fact that Mexico are really in the mud right now. I mean, the worst Mexico of my life and probably a couple of generations. So something drastic needed to be done. I think the dual position, the dual appointments for these two guys, I think it's best of both worlds, and hopefully, US experience at club level, European experience, also his Mexican national team experience as well, coupled with Rafa Marquez's, experience with youth players, young players, developing, a younger team. Hopefully, together they kind of settle the ship a bit, and maybe turn that corner for the next Mexican national team, because the corner needs to happen. I mean, Mexico's been in a downward spiral for about 5 years now. It's just seems to get worse and worse and worse. Even though they won, a Nations League or whatever it was, or Gold Cup, I think it was, kind of like a year ago. But it's been in free fall basically, for years. So hopefully this settles it now. And like I said, Marcus is still super young. He could spend 2, maybe 3 years in the the national team, and then go and get a decent club job. I don't think he was ever going to get the Barcelona job. And maybe some people say, well, he could have gone to a different La Liga team. Yeah, that's possible. But I feel like Marquez needs El Tri right now, and I think El Tri needs Marquez. I think he's got a really good career ahead of him, not just in the national team, but a club career. I think and he's still young, so there's no rush. He can help Aguirre see this through the World Cup cycle, and obviously in the World Cup itself, and then after that, let's just see what happens. They don't have to stay indefinitely, and obviously the Mexican national team job seems to be a World Cup rotational thing where you get a coach in, you do World Cup preparations, you qualify, you do the World Cup, and then you leave. When Carlos Osorio did it. So yeah, for me, I'm very happy with this move. Like I said, and I'm quite happy. I mean, obviously something drastically needed to happen. I think this is a good move for all involved. Let me know what you think about it, though. Obviously, Aguirre and Marquez bring up their own different opinions. For me, I'm really lucky, and I want to get a video on it actually, because it's quite a big step. I think it's a good step in the right direction as well. I know I did say that I was going to call it on the Mexico specific videos for a little while, but this is a big deal. Obviously, there's a new coach, and I want to do a video and give my opinion on it. Like I said, if it wasn't with Rafa Marquez, I think I'd be a bit more ambivalent towards Aguirre, but both of them together, like I said loads of times in this video, they complement each other in my opinion. Hopefully they both have decent input in the squads and the training, and hopefully we start really seeing this Mexico team gel, because obviously Copa America, I mentioned it earlier, the thing that really worked was the squad roster. The roster was way more liked by the fans than in the previous couple of years. Santi Jimenez being the starting striker, for example. Marcelo Flores getting called up, but obviously he didn't get a game, or didn't get a minute. But there's a lot more players in that roster that I think a lot of people agreed with. I think the downside was they had no time to kind of gel together, play together. Most of that squad, I think, in the Copa America, in my opinion at least, apart from the centre back pairs, and some of the defensive players, haven't played that much together. Malagon was going to be the starting goalkeeper, but he's not that much experience with the national team. All the goalkeepers that called up, even Rodriguez, Gonzalez obviously, and obviously Talavera as well, who hadn't got his debut just before the Copa America. So most of these players that have been brought in and it's been praised by the fans haven't played together very well. Very often. They don't know each other. I think that really showed in the Copa America. So hopefully they can get the same kind of squad. Maybe bring in a couple more youngsters. I think Talavera needs to start now. He needs to be at least in rotation. He should be a third goalkeeper. Um, his 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 career with Chivas right now is absolutely phenomenal. He's started on the ground running for in the new Apertura. He's got a couple of clean sheets now. Um, and yeah, he's doing brilliantly with Chivas, and I think he deserves to be more involved in the next Mexican national team. And I think there's more other players. I think Marcelo Flores deserves to be playing more. Even though I still really sorry about his move to Tigres, I think he's doing well with Tigres, and I think he deserves to be in the national team. And they're the kind of players that we need to start bringing in and start playing more. Santi Jimenez, I think for me, is only going to get better in the Mexican national team. I think with the right coaching and the right advice, hopefully we can get the best out of him and we can start seeing a bit more of him. But yeah, a bit fortuitous as well that obviously today is the day that Rafa Marquez was announced, because he's actually one of the signatures. You can't really see it because they're all faded a little bit, but he's actually on the signatures of one of that on that jersey. So I just thought I'd mention that because I'm quite proud of it. It arrived yesterday, and it's my new favourite shirt. So yeah. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the whole Aguirre Rafa Marquez thing. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Have I not mentioned anything that maybe you want to bring up, especially regarding to Aguirre? I mean, um, I'm not too knowledgeable about his previous appointment in Mexico and how well he did and whatever. So let me know if I've missed anything. Appreciate it, and we can have a chat about it in the comments. Subscribe as well if you haven't subscribed already. I really do appreciate it. There's a lot of you that watch the videos but don't subscribe. It'd be really cool if you did. You won't miss anything then. You'll get all my videos, and maybe you'll go through my playlist and see some videos that you haven't seen yet and you think are interesting. Obviously, my jerseys. I've got a load of jersey collection videos out there for you to watch. And yeah, obviously I've got more since I did some episode 2s for all my different collections recently in the last few months, and I've got even more now, so I might do another episode in the not too distant future. Yeah, anyway, guys, let me know in the comments about the Aguirre Rafa Marquez appointment, and how do you think Mexico are gonna do in the year, in the couple of years leading up to World Cup 2026, which is obviously the goal now. Obviously, they've qualified, which is great, but obviously there's lots of preparations to go, and I think there's a couple of cup tournaments in between there, so yeah, lots to talk about Mexico, but not for a while. I don't think. I don't think I'll be doing videos for the friendlies or anything like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, and we'll go from there. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. I've got a couple of other videos coming out relatively soon as well, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, have a good week, and I'll see you guys very soon. Adios.